Alright folks, welcome back to King's Consoles, here for a retro hardware overview. Today we're looking at a Super Nintendo controller, as you can probably tell by the coloured buttons on the right hand side. This is a Super Nintendo controller, third party controller, made by the company Honeybee. It's their Competition Pro. The Honeybee have made lots of different controllers for systems. Super Nintendo, I'm sure they got actually about 4 or 5. I've kind of not found them all, but this is one of their variants that they've done. But yeah, straight away its striking feature is it's a see-through case, and with a lot of these third-party controllers, they all have some sort of special function, and this one it's your kind of auto-fire turbo buttons, which we'll come to in a few moments. Just going to have a quick look around the controller itself. Let's see the design. Certainly not your typical Super Nintendo shape anyway. The buttons all seem to be in the right place, and on the back see more of that circuit board. It says Honeybee here, kind of etched into the plastic. It's model number SF-28, so I'm guessing it's Super Famicom. Made in China, and some more writing UK registered design and USA registered design. And if you just see the circuit board underneath, you can see Honeybee, and again SF-28 there as well. And I said I love seeing the design of the circuit board in the back. One of the benefits of actually having the see-through case is when you push down the buttons, see the R button here, see a little pressure pad getting pushed down, and same again in the front, you can see when pushing the yellow button, the green button, oops, a bit of light there, but you get the gist of it. It just hits the pressure pads. But overall, let's just look at the ergonomics, let's say. So a very nice pad to hold. You'll see one of the downfalls in a second, I'll come to that. But yeah, I've got quite large hands, nice to hold, plenty of room. I don't know if a kid would maybe struggle with this because it's quite wide. But your main function buttons, B, A, Y and X, all the same colours as your normal Super Nintendo, Super Famicom. Start and select, actually really nice buttons. These work really well, very clicky, very responsive. Start and select actually probably are better than the original Super Nintendo controller. You should probably hear them there. They're hard buttons, a lot of movement and travel. Switches, see the main functionality of this controller is the auto fire. So you've got off, turbo and auto. So depending on the variation of speed you want the button to push down. So these controllers were great for say 2D shooters. All you do is you see your B button is your fire button. Flick it down to auto or turbo, whichever one. Hold the button down and it just fires the guns. Especially if it's games where you have to constantly tap the fire button to shoot. These came really handy. Or, if you're a cheating git, a Street Fighter, flick down the X, hold X, I'm sure it's X. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I'm sure if you hold down X, that is Blanca's electricity attack in Street Fighter. You could just stand in the middle of the room, or middle of the fighting area, or whatever you call it. Hold down X, and then anyone tries to attack you, can't get near you, because you're just constantly electric. Pro tip. Onto the downside of this controller really is, oh yeah, you've got your L and R at the top, but that's nothing special about them. Quite nice and spongy, quite nice and responsive from what I can gather. This is the problem with third party controllers, a lot of them, is the D-pad. And I believe it was down to the fact that Nintendo had licensed the D-pad since the NES. Their variation of it, probably the best one you can get. Close between that and I quite like the Sony PlayStation as well. But you notice like the Xbox D-pad, the inner sort of third-party controller, it's kind of this weird, kind of crappy, floaty controller D-pad thing. I keep saying D-pad a lot. D-pad, D-pad, D-pad. But the most peculiar thing with this, not only the fact that it wobbles all over the place, but if you notice the arrows, let's say up, down, left and right, it's kind of off-centered. So when you hold it down and you're playing, these buttons all seem to be in line with the normal Super Nintendo controller. But yeah, instead of pressing up here, you're kind of pressing almost at a diagonal. Don't know if this is meant for fighting games or is meant to be any benefit to it at all, but I certainly don't understand why that would be a benefit. And I don't know if that's just a design flaw. I don't see why it's... Turn it around a little bit. If it's standing that way, I don't see much difference between up, down. I don't know. I don't know what the designers were thinking, but that's the way it was designed, and that's the way it stands. So I don't think I'll be using this controller to play many games. I might give it a try, but yeah, that's the biggest letdown. Other than that, the actual shape of the controller, overall size of it is good. On the back, see we have one more button, is your slow-mo. Now, I was never a big fan of these. It all depends on the game. So, if you're playing a game and say it was a 2D shooter and you kept getting killed at a point and you want to go slower, flick the switch, and all it does is just keep pressing the start button rapidly. So, if you had a game which didn't have any sort of noise or didn't black out when it paused or go to the menu, it worked great. So the game just runs slow. If you have something, maybe had a menu like Street Fighter, then you keep hearing a noise and then you keep seeing the menu popping up and down, and it's pretty much useless. So yeah, I'm never a big fan of the slow motion buttons, but that's just a matter of preference. So let's give a little size overview, because this is actually a bit considerably bigger than the original Super Nintendo. And here's one I have prepared. This is the original Snes one, not a Snes Mini, which at the moment, there's not much difference to tell. But in the general size, you can see this kind of boomerang shape it's got does give it a bit more length. Trying to do it both ways. Yeah, so you can see a bit more there. So it's a bit more curved to the Competition Pro controller. I mean, this is a hard thing to compete with. I mean, look at the D-pad. That's a nice spongy D-pad, and unfortunately these guys just couldn't replicate it. Nice length of cable, which I might add. This seems to be a thing we have to talk about nowadays, because so many controllers, especially the SNES Mini, don't have long controllers. And there's the good old connection, which sadly won't work in the SNES Mini. Wah, wah, wah. Sad. Yeah, it's the only downside. I think if they could have worked something out, I know Nintendo weren't using their controllers, but if they could have worked some way to get the old controllers to work. I know you can get adapters, Bluetooth adapters, which plug into the NES Mini. Certainly had it, so the SNES Mini will have it as well, I'd imagine. So you can use your old joysticks and peripherals. But if it came in the box like that, it would have been really handy. I just think that they probably don't have access to those connectors. I don't know why, but it's obviously just a little easier making the good old Wii connectors. I'm saying good old, the Wii's not that old, but yeah, you know what I mean. They're making the same connectors for the console, so less work and less R&D for them. But yeah, that's all for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. It's just a really look at this controller and my thoughts on it. I'll be bringing another actually Super Nintendo controller very soon. Kind of similar, but I'll show you one that I think they've done right. And I may have just actually contradicted myself in parts of this video, but we'll just forget about that. This is Dave for King's Consoles, and catch us again very soon, and bye for now.